Hey, what's up, DC? It's another edition of what's this? Hip Hop the World.
Hip Hop the
Hip
World.
Hop the World. This is the Black History Month edition. It's February 2nd.
Day late, but
taping
we
this
still.
thing. It's a day late. Well, we was closed yesterday. I would have did it yesterday, but DCTV was closed.
Cause you be on it, Tim.
I be trying to stay on top of the game. But this is Black History Month. Hip hop is a major part of the black culture, so we're celebrating Black History Month, and we're also talking about the relevance of hip hop in Black history. And the studio, my main man, hip hop connoisseur extraordinaire, Kobie Nichols.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night around the world.
So like we said, we're talking about
Hip Hop the World.
Hip hop and its relevance in Black history. We always celebrate Black History Month. We talk about civil rights leaders. We talk about sports figures. We talk about musicians,
Medical doctors,
inventors, things of that nature, who have paved the way for black people.
Soldiers.
But in today, 2009, this edition of Black History Month, we want to look and see what people in the hip hop culture, from the hip hop personalities, producers, musicians, who have opened doors for black people and made social change across America in general. We were talking about some people that we threw some names out there, and we spoke about Will Smith.
Will Smith. Yes, he was the first person to win a Grammy for that first album back in '88. He wasn't. They didn't show it that year. But after that, they started showing, I think it was Best Rap Song. Parents Just Don't Understand, maybe. But yeah, he was the first to win a Grammy. That was the first year they opened Grammys up for rap, and he won it.
And we also talked about his crossover success as an actor, being the first person to start off as a hip hop artist, cross over into movies, and be nominated for an Oscar.
I think he was the first. It was either him or Queen Latifah, but I think he was the first.
I think his first nomination was
Ali,
best supporting actor for Legend of Bagger Vance.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, he was first.
Nominated.
He was nominated for that.
Best supporting actor.
That was a bad movie.
But I guess that was kind of sort of his breakout into acting. It's a supporting role, and then after that, everything was lead roles. And his first lead role he was nominated for Oscar was Ali.
Yeah.
And we see him basically every year he puts out a movie he's nominated. Movies
except for this year.
Except for this year.
Well, because 7 Pounds didn't deserve that. No, not all them good movies.
But he was the first person to start off as a hip hop person to cross over. Obviously, we had Queen Latifah in Chicago was nominated for an Oscar. Mm-hmm. We've seen other artists cross over into movies. Ice Cube has had success. Ice-T has had success in a small screen more so than a big screen. Yeah,
Ice-T, he might have been the first cat to have a hip-hop cat to have well, maybe not, but a major production deal. He might have been first to do that because,
Will Smith was also the first hip-hop artist to have a recurring role, to have a TV show, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I ain't even check. You think he won the Golden Globe for Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
They won a lot of awards throughout that time span when they was on.
That would be interesting to find
when
out.
The first one came, I'm not sure. Like I say, he's basically opened the doors for a lot of hip-hop artists to cross over. Even though his movies are a lot different than what we see other hip-hop artists do. Yeah. He plays various roles, more diverse roles, as opposed to always thugs.
Well, yeah, because he executive produces most of his stuff now. He has Overbrook Entertainment, which is his production company. He and his wife Jada Pinkett, who could be considered a hip-hop person. Even, she dated Tupac, I think that automatically, if you date Tupac, you're hip-hop. That's a rule of thumb.
So, we also talked about, with just hip hop in general, Def Jam Records, obviously the first major hip hop label. Rap had existed before Def Jam, but it was the first major label to put strictly hip hop. So they had other independent labels who put out
Sugar
music.
Hill Gang and there was another group. Another company. I can't remember the name, but Def Jam were the first. Yeah.
So now you see like everybody has their own label.
Russell Simmons and Rick Rule.
And basically the success of Def Jam has shown that a black person can create, even though Motown had already did their thing.
I wouldn't even say black person because it wasn't Russell Simmons. It was Russell Simmons and Rick Rubin.
But it was strictly hip hop.
It was strictly hip hop. And hip hop is not black.
I'm sorry. It's a part of the African American culture.
It is mad inclusive. It is. Never was racist. Hip hop was never racist.
Yeah, it's never racist. It's expanded into a lot of other cultures, but We can go on about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bronx, New York back in them days was as much as Hispanic as it was African American.
It was.
And then you got breakdancing and graffiti, which for some reason they did well. Not they, shouldn't say it like that, but Hispanics did pretty well.
It was all a part of that.
But since we talking about Black history, that don't even matter.
Yeah, so when we talk about Latino history, then we'll talk about that.
Do they have a month?
They do have a month.
What month is that?
Everybody needs a month now because you have to be socially conscious.
You know what month it is?
I'm not sure what month, but
it might be May. Cinco de Mayo.
It might be May. But whenever the month comes around, we'll talk about Latinos.
All right, cool.
The Latino
we got
demographic.
Salsa.
So everybody in Mount Pleasant and all of that.
We got this for Black History Month. When Latino will have some salsa, some guacamole,
some salsa. But we also talked about, who else did we talk about? We talked about Sean Combs. And him playing on Broadway.
He did play on Broadway. I don't think he was the first hip hop guy to play on Broadway, but he was the first one to have that store on Fifth Avenue, and that's the most impressive thing to me he's done. Everything else is other people do. That right there, I need to go there and buy something, a cuffling or something. Some shoestrings. So
you don't get a store on Fifth Avenue unless you're doing something major.
You don't get a, and I mean he's done a lot. He ran that marathon. Diddy runs the city thing, and he gave all the money to the schools in New York. That was quasi political. He didn't do it for the money. He stays on it. He keeps his name out there, and stuff like that allowed him to get the pull to get that store on Fifth Avenue, because regular people can't get stores on Fifth Avenue, whatever your ethnic background is.
You have to look at his success internationally when it comes to his fashion line. He's international.
Yeah.
So it's not like Echo. I mean, Echo is, I guess, international, but you had a lot of hip-hop people that put out clothing who barely leaves their region. And you got Sean Combs, whose clothing, like I say, is across the world. You can go Tokyo, Italy, Milan, and London, and it's not just urban wear.
Right, that's the difference. That's the difference.
It's just
he got those nice suits. Every high
quality people.
Every show that Chris Rock comedy show does, he did Sean John suit. Go look at those suits. They were pretty nice. I don't really care for the red velvet jump, but it was a really nice cut of a suit.
So he does his thing. We talked last show. We did hip hop where we talked about Obama and how he opened up doors for black people being the president. Now that he's become president, what else is there for African Americans to accomplish to be considered historical?
Same thing we do every day. Take over the world.
Basically, we haven't celebrated too. I won't say we haven't celebrated too much, but the things that we usually talk about in schools happened decades ago. There's not too many things that we talk about that are relevant to our generation that we have probably lived. Like I didn't live through the civil rights movement. So from a historical standpoint, our generation, what can we hold on to and say, I was there, other than Obama, that we can say I was there when this black person made history?
You know what